Today on the bench, I want to tie you up Dawn's UV2 Caddis Pupa. It's one of my favorite patterns to use in our local streams and rivers, and what sets this fly apart is the UV2 material I use for the body. So make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we'll use a size 12 curved Nymph hook, some 8/0 olive thread to tie with, some medium flat wire for the weight, some UV2 Chartreuse dubbing for the body, some olive ostrich herl for the gills, some 30 gauge green hot wire for the rib, some olive Hungarian Partridge for the wing, some small Peacock Chenille for the thorax, and some olive Hungarian Partridge for the Wingcase. To start the fly off, before you put your thread on, you want to take that flat lead wire, and we're just going to wrap it forward and form a body. And just keep it fairly thin, and of course we want to taper this. I'm going to put it on in the back of the hook and just wrap it forward just to build up the body, and then I'll pinch it off near the head and wrap over one more amount of wire at the front of the hook just to build up the thorax a bit. Now that your lead's tied in, take your olive thread and we'll wrap it on, and wrap over your base of lead you put down just so it stays intact. Next step is take that hot wire, it's fairly thick wire, and start around the middle of the hook and wrap it in, and this will be the ribbing a little bit later. Now take some ostrich herl, and you want to pick out one that's not too long. You don't want this flaring out too much. Just something that's that will make some nice gills on the fly. Tie it in. We'll wrap those up for the gills a little later. After you have your wire and your ostrich herl in, I'm going to take my UV2 material, and this is really the key to the pattern. It really sets this fly off. I'm just going to dub in some of this UV2 CLX Chartreuse color, and we'll just dub it on our line fairly thin. I want to keep this fairly thin because we've already built up the body with the lead. And we'll wrap it forward to form the body. And you only want to go up about halfway, just past halfway. After you have the body tied in, we're going to take our ostrich herl and just wrap it forward up the body. After the ostrich is tied in, we're going to take our rib and we'll wind it up, and I try to follow just where I did with the ostrich. You know, maybe take a few more wraps, but try not to cover your ostrich too much, but just make sure those ribs show up. Now we want to put the wing and the wing case on. So I've taken one Hungarian Partridge feather. I'm going to make it about just past the bend in the hook. I don't want this wing to be too long. I'm going to wrap it over right where the body ended, and then keep that on there, because we're going to wrap this over the rest of it to form the wing case after we tie in the body. Now take a strand of your small Peacock Chenille and tie it in near the head, and then we're just going to wrap in a thorax on the fly, or a head on the fly. And I like to, again, keep it small. Take maybe 2 to 3 wraps on my Peacock Chenille, and that's it, and then tie off. Now to finish the fly off, I'm going to take the remainder of my Hungarian Partridge that I had to tie in the wing. I'm going to bring it over to form a wing case over the head or the thorax I just tied in. And that forms a nice wing case on the fly. And now to finish the fly off, what I like to do is put a whip fish on. Of course, you always want to finish your fly, and cut off your thread. And you know, on this fly here, I don't mind putting a little bit of head cement on. I'll even put some head cement onto the thread, and just even cover my wing case a bit with head cement so it stays intact. So there it is, Dawn's UV2 Caddis Pupa. As I mentioned on the intro, it's one of the best Caddis Pupa patterns we've ever used in our local streams and rivers. And you know, again, I mentioned the UV2 material. When you get a UV light and you shine it on that fly, you can just see how much that fly glows and sets it apart. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.